This video is part 2 of a series on Warthunder's historical campaigns. Watching part 1 beforehand is recommended, as it provides context on these campaign packs. In this video, we'll focus on the Japanese campaign pack, the second Pacific campaign pack available in the game. So again, spoiler warning. Alright, let's jump right in. Just like last time, I'll be playing on realistic with both unlimited ammo and fuel. And of course, I'll be writing the important aspects of the mission on the top right of the screen when beginning. The Japanese campaign, just like the US one, starts off on Pearl Harbor, with Mission 1 representing the first Japanese attack wave.
Pull out! Pull out! Pull out! Fly like the wind, pilots, above the enemy's fleet and military bases, and bring destruction!
Already from the beginning, this campaign is even less stable than the American campaign. You get spawned on a mass of planes, which, as you can guess, leads to the AI promptly colliding with each other. Anyways, after waving your way past that mess, all you have to do is release a few bombs over the enemy airfield.
We took them by surprise! Attack hangars in the airplanes at the airport!
You don't have bomb sites, but there are plenty of targets, so it's hard to miss.
I see about 8 battleships and no aircraft carriers. It's like practice. Torpedo bombers attack.
Next up, you'll transition to another furball of planes. Again, your objective is simple: use your torpedo against one of the stationary battleships. The Japanese torpedoes have much higher speed and altitude limits than American ones, so they're much easier to handle. Though the battleships will finally wake up afterwards and open up with their anti-air all at once, shortly after you release your torpedo.
The target is hit.
Regardless, the mission itself is pretty much over at this point. All that's left is to fly away from the battle. Mission 2, the second wave.
First wave was successful. We must confirm our success.
Same planes, same map, similar objectives. You are once again attacking the same battleships with the same plane, only this time equipped with bombs. By this point, however, the Americans are fully aware of your attack and will not hesitate to destroy your frame rate upon your approach. Thankfully, you do not need to close in like with a torpedo. Just use your bomb sight to drop your bombs from afar and you'll be fine. Unlike the US campaign, simply damaging the ships here completes the mission, so you don't need to do this over and over again either. Once you're done, a cutscene will play and you'll transition further away from the harbor, now tasked with attacking PBY flying boats.
Attack the flying boat base.
Ordinarily, this would be very easy, but you're stuck with default ammunition belts, which are even worse with Japanese planes than with American ones. Your 30 cal machine guns don't even damage the PBIs, so your best bet is to strafe with the 20mm cannons until they die, which still takes way longer than it should. Honestly, I have no idea how you would complete this part without unlimited ammo. Thankfully, the PBYs remain immobile and their guns are fairly inaccurate, so there's little danger as you complete the objective. Once you kill enough PBYs, the mission is basically over. Turn around and away from the battle to end the mission. There's a lot of cutscenes for the Pearl Harbor Theater, just like in the American campaign. I'll mostly be skipping these in the interest of time since they take like 3 minutes each. And of course, as with last time,
Japanese forces.
Mission 3, prepare for a long one.
Enemy closing in from southwest-west. Zika fighters attack enemy planes. Repeat, Zika-based fighters attack enemy planes closing in from the west. Roger that.
The anemic Japanese weaponry is even more apparent during this mission, as this time you're tasked with defending a carrier group from enemy attacks. This means going out to kill bomber formations. Sadly for you, the Japanese figured that bamboo and wet paper was good enough for airplane material. Spoiler, it was not. Thankfully, you do have 4 pilots to swap in between.
Attention! Another enemy group closing in! Zika fighters! Move to intercept! Roger that!
After defending from 2 waves of dauntless bombers and witnessing secret Japanese airplane technology once again, you get to do the exact same thing. Just this time against TBF bombers instead of SBDs. But that's not the end, no.
Great job! Looks like Shokaku hasn't been damaged. Failed to detect enemy forces. Looks like we've been given a break. Great. Wing! All land on Zuikaku to refuel and reload! Looks like there is another group following them. Roger that. Zika fighters, move towards the second group and attack. Roger that. Let's give them a warm welcome.
A quick way I found for doing this is to simply swap between pilots, since the Wildcats will disperse to engage you at 1-to-1. Against a much more maneuverable Zero, that makes them easy pickings.
Them off! All head back to Zuikaku. Good day's work, everyone. I hope our bombers made it hot for them.
Once you kill 2 of them, the mission is over at last. By the way, this is also the first instance where you get to do the land your plane objective. With the Nimble Zero, this is much easier to do than with the heavier Wildcats, so at least they have that going for them. Too bad landing is a secondary objective that has absolutely no impact on the mission or post-mission rewards. Mission 4 is similar to the last mission, though with the roles reversed. Now instead of defending a carrier, you are attacking one.
Approaching designated coordinates. Maintain vigilance. Yes, sir.
Well, not exactly, you are still defending, just this time escorting a bomber formation instead of attacking one. Your role is to destroy enemy fighters attacking the bombers, which is fairly simple. Defending the bombers isn't that difficult, and they won't get shot down as soon as you abandon them. Once they reach a certain point above the enemy fleet, your objective will change to attacking enemy fighters just like last time, and you only have to kill 2 of them, just like last time.
All fighters, attention! Attack enemy planes! I repeat, attack enemy planes! Don't let them come near the bombers or torpedo bombers that are attacking the ships! Roger that. Attack!
But it turns out this time, the Americans have fitted turboprops on their F4F Wildcats, who have now become capable of easily keeping up with the Cold War jets. Jokes aside, I think I kinda get the reputation of these campaigns now. Most people would have gone for the Japanese campaign pack first, as it is a better deal with a tier 4 plane instead of a tier 2 one, but in exchange you get this. I managed to find 2 Wildcats that adhere to the laws of physics, which I barely managed to destroy before the time limit runs out. At least that ends the mission.
Have you seen that carrier? It's shredded! Mission accomplished. Wing head back! Returning to Shokaku and Luikaku.
Next up is the Battle of Midway. I figure we've already done enough video jumpscare jokes in the last video, so let's just skip the intro videos from now on. Mission 5, it only goes downhill from here. Right from takeoff you get to hear this beautiful sound. That's not me doing it, that is in fact the AI ramming itself into the carrier deck while trying to take off. Regardless, remember mission 4, then you've already played this mission as your objectives are the exact same. Bomber escort.
Take a course on Midway. Keep the formation. Let's repeat Pearl Harbor! Hold above formation of bombers. Be ready to intercept the enemy fighters.
I'm gonna summarize this mission in 2 words, repetitive and tedious. The anemic guns again don't help, there aren't any unique secondary objectives to change things up, it's just kill and be killed. I actually failed for the first time during this mission, meanwhile I hadn't failed once during the US campaign. I digress. Once you're finally done escorting the bombers, your objective now changes to ground pounding.
Launch the attack!
If I wanted to ground pound, I would much rather play as the Americans, but it's just like targets that can be destroyed with 7.7 machine guns, so whatever. Destroy a dozen emplacements to complete the objective, turn around and head back for the fleet, mission complete.
We have destroyed weapon caches on the island, but the runway was not damaged. We need to attack again.
At least landing on the carrier is easy. If only the game spawned you on the right side for doing a landing, nope, you gotta do a detour and turn 180 degrees to be able to use the arrestor cables. Mission 6. Divide that number by 2. 3. It's literally just mission 3 again. Oh no, our carriers are being attacked! Shoot down the attacking bombers! I mean, I know the American campaign had the same thing with bombing carriers, but I'd much rather bomb a ship repeatedly than having to wait for ammunition reloads. If I actually had decent weaponry, this would be fun, but I don't. The 20mm require multiple hits to kill, and the 77mm are about as harmful as silverfish. The worst problem is the squadmate AI will actively waste their ammunition while shooting at enemy planes while achieving absolutely nothing doing so, unlike bombs, which they never use, so you're free to swap between planes and drop payload after payload. In this situation, with the AI wasting their ammo, you just end up waiting for reloads more than anything. Swapping between planes doesn't help.
We won't be able to catch up with them. What kind of planes were those? They look like P-17 from Midway. You think there will be other attacks? I think so. Otherwise, they wouldn't have ordered us to take off. I see a group of enemy bombers to the south at 6,500 feet. Now, it's our turn. Moving into intercept. Another group approaching at 5,000 feet from the south.
God help you if you were to actually try this without unlimited ammo. There's literally nothing else besides killing SPD and TVF bombers in this mission, so next. Finally, we get some variety in mission 7. We're off in a B-5N1 bomber to go attack an American carrier. While on the way, we're unsurprisingly intercepted by enemy fighters. The B5N1 isn't equipped for a fight, so I chose to just speed up ahead of the formation and bravely run away, like a true Bushido code abider. As you approach the carrier, there's some pretty significant AA fire sent your way by the square escorts, but it seems that the AA is powerless before the spirit of the Emperor protecting your plane. The carrier takes multiple torpedoes to be sunk, but thankfully the Japanese torpedoes are very easy to use, and with a whopping 6 planes to swap between, it takes very little time to deal the required amount of damage. A short cutscene plays afterwards, and the carrier sinks to the depths. Turn around and head back towards your allied fleet to end the mission. Mission 8, time to move to Guadalcanal, except only in name, because if you thought that the last mission was a signal that the following missions would be more varied, divide the mission number by 2.
Stick to the plan. Break into 3 groups and attack the fleet from different directions to confuse the defense line. Keep your eyes open! Enemy fighters can come at any minute.
Yeah, this is mission 4 all over again. Unironically, the exact same mission, just this time you're defending D3A1s instead of B5N1s, which functionally makes no difference whatsoever, since the AI never seem to be able to actually kill each other through any other method besides ramming anyway.
The enemy is falling behind. Looks like they are turning back. Take a course to our ship.
At least unlike mission 4, you don't have to destroy 2 enemy fighters once the bombers arrive at the target. The game just tells you to return to the allied fleet and the mission ends after that.
Enemy carrier was hit by at least 3 bombs. He suffered moderate losses. Roger that. Thanks for the good news, Lieutenant.
Finally, mission 9. This is the last mission of the Japanese campaign. That is 2 missions less than the US campaign, though I guess they kinda make up the same length overall since the Japanese missions are longer. Too bad longer doesn't equate to better. We start off on a plane that is not a 0. This is a good thing, but there is one problem, and that is takeoff. For some reason, the Japanese carriers do not have a takeoff boost, and the D3A1 really struggles to get going without it. I actually failed the takeoff 2 different times while playing through this mission, so I'd advise using your takeoff flaps.
Expecting American defense forces to put up furious resistance. Stay in close formation and get ready to defeat enemy attacks.
Anyway, since we're not in a bomber ourselves, we're not doing bomber escort again at least. kinda. It's bomb or follow instead. Unfortunately, you're not the strike leader, so if you're thinking, oh, I'll just rush ahead to the enemy carrier fleet and get it over with, that's gonna fail the objective. Not that failing the objective actually fails the mission, but, you know, might as well do it properly, so I restarted the first time. This time I carefully follow behind the AI strike leader and the objective successfully completes once we reach over the carrier. Have I ever introduced you to American anti-air? If you watched part 1, you might remember me getting friendly fired by an American destroyer in the last mission. Well, this time those destroyers aren't just hitting you accidentally. No, they are aiming for you, and this time they will make you regret. Their anti-air is not scripted, to be honest. In fact, it is scripted to aim specifically for the player. Thankfully, a single bomb hit on the enemy carrier is enough to trigger a cutscene and complete the objective. It only needs to be damaged, not sunk. Do the same things again, except it turns out if you're even slightly ahead of the strike leader, it'll fail the objective. No wiggle room. But at this point I'm already 20 minutes in, and I don't want to restart again, so onwards we go. I switched tactics this time, swapping between all available pilots, dropping all of their bombs. Accuracy is not really a concern when a single hit is not. I still miss most of my bombs. Thankfully my last AI squad mate somehow managed to get very close to the enemy carrier, which allows me to get a hit and complete the objective. Now for the getaway. The tactic is to again use your AI squad mates. As soon as the ships focus their anti-air on you, swap to a different pilot. The anti-air takes a short amount of time to refocus their aim, giving you a brief respite to try and make as much headway as possible towards the allied fleet before swapping to the next pilot. After doing this a few times, I swapped to a pilot that has managed to get enough distance away from the enemy fleet that I'm no longer being targeted.
damaged one of those carriers for sure.
That wraps up the campaign, so should you play this campaign? If it wasn't obvious by this point, or if you just skipped ahead using the timestamps, the answer is a resounding no. Not only is the Japanese campaign significantly buggier than the American one, it is much more one-note. Missions are very similar to each other to the point where I question whether they just copy-pasted things and said good enough. Most of the missions simply take place over the ocean with the same setting, either attacking a carrier group or defending one. Obviously it's gonna have these types of missions, but the US campaign had more variety while still having these sorts of missions. The difficulty is also all over the place. The American planes are much more of a challenge than the Japanese planes I faced during the US campaign, and will quickly take you down if you're not paying attention. I would still tell you to try it yourself, at least if you didn't have to spend most of your time waiting for a reload or just going from A to B. But as it is, this is a campaign to be avoided, unfortunately. If you own the US one, play that one instead.